Testing, testing. Pop this out. Boy. Sorry guys, you know how it is. I have not gotten done most of the things I need to get done today on Monday. So we're going to spend the day as I put together some S4M classics. Because I finally got some back after 2 years at the powder coaters. So I'm going to get those assembled so I can box them up later. And then go through my long list of people that were looking to purchase them and ask to be put on my bulletin board. So I'm going to go start bringing those boxes in, and I guess we'll do what we normally do, just talk and answer questions and shoot the motherboard. We got to come up with a new name for that. I don't even know if I'm in focus. I didn't have my camera set up, and I had to set all that up, and I think I changed my lighting and all that. Not really a big deal. Alright, I'm going to get those boxes. Thanks for your patience. Oh no, we have bugs! Ah! I don't want bugs on my computers. Okay. These look great, but they really should after 2 years. 2 years! It's ridiculous. They've been coated so many times, too, that the metal was starting to wear away from being stripped over and over and over and over again. But finally, they got a guy in that was able to do them perfect. This one's mine, by the way. It looks so good in person. I can't even begin to describe it. This is several layers of powder coat, expertly applied. It has this beautiful frosted matte finish over the gloss silver artery. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. You can actually kind of see where the metal is eroded. It's crazy, but it only adds to the look of this particular powder. So it works out really, really great. But it looks like a really old piece of metal. Oh, so good. I am so happy with it, though. It looks... Okay, I'm going to shut up, but seriously. Very excited about this one. I'll do that one first. Let's see. I got 1, 2... This is what the rest of the panels look like. And I still have some more there. They swear they're going to do them. I doubt it. We'll see. Hope it doesn't take another 2 years. But beautiful, beautiful. It's a gunmetal metallic look. The silver artery, that's kind of the type of powder it is. So you have these dimples and divots with the black, with a really organic texture. This is hard to do because it's hard to get even clumps. So it doesn't... You don't want it even because it's an organic look, right? It's a very mathematical look. But at the same time, you don't want too Can't talk right. It's hard to get it to look like it looks, but they finally were able to get it to look like it looks. They're all perfect, by the way, which was so exciting to me. Like, I didn't have... Usually when a powder screws up, it screws up with the grounding cooks and the contacts, especially for crazy powders like this that rely on the electric charges to put the different types of pigments and powders in it. But they look fantastic. All of them are flawless. Very, very, very excited about it. But again, at the cost and time it took, definitely should be. I'm going to boost the chat because I actually cannot see what you guys are saying. Probably shut up. do. Hey, Bellis. Nice to see you guys too. Thank you for joining me today, even if I'm not really going to be doing anything exciting. But it is exciting finally to have these panels back. Thank you, Doug, for checking out my on-off switches. And if you decide to bail because you don't want to pay my absorbent prices, I do have a tutorial on my store page on how to buy and assemble your own switch. But my switches are actually crafted and made for me. I got sick of buying off-the-shelf stuff because it's not from concentrate, you know? So I actually hired a manufacturer to make me a lot of... I'll show you, actually. This is what a case comes in. So when I order them, I get lots and lots of cases, obviously. This is what one case looks like. So no, I'm not buying these one at a time at Amazon. My switch is a little bit special. It's a stainless steel body, which you can find stainless steel bodies on Amazon and eBay. I have links so you can buy the cheap ones. But it's hard to find ones with a beautiful radial brush. Mine are radial brushed. They don't have scratches and stuff like that on them already because they're individually packed like that. And then what's interesting too about my buttons is that I have a miniature dome in the middle, and it's totally unique. There's nothing else quite like that out there. I really, really like how they look. And with the right kind of lighting, it almost makes that prismatic effect because of the radial brush in the dome. So you can kind of see a little bit of color depending on what your light looks like. I like them. I really like them a lot. They are expensive, but that's mostly because of the labor. Remember, if you buy a switch from me, you don't have to settle for the default cable length. I will make the cable length however long you need it or however short you need it. And I also have lots of sleeving that you can choose from. You don't just have to go with the stock carbon fiber. This is all $1 million PC stuff. And I don't have every color, but I do have lots and lots and lots of different shades. So that's where the not from concentrate part comes in. You know, just send me an email if you need it a little bit custom. All right, I got to get some more actual panels out so I can put these together. Is there an S4 decal template? I'm feeling creative and want to design a Bowsette decal. Man, even I know what Bowsette is. Or who she is. That exploded. But anyway, there's not one for the S4M yet. There is one for the S4M-C. There's actually a couple of them. So you can find those on smallformfactor.net or on my website. If you go to the store and you go to the Sky Skins, you can download a Photoshop template for the S4M-C. Oh, here we go. Nice. Perfect. Okay, I'll put these away for now. Looks like I got exactly 5 boxes. Yeah, and Bellis asked a good question. What's the difference between the S4M-C and the S4M? The S4M-C is the classic. These are S4M-C panels. I had a special secret reserve of the last S4M-Cs ever, and I didn't know if I was ever going to get to be able to give them to people because I thought that these panels were gone forever and ever and ever. And last time I saw them, it was so depressing because, as I was just saying earlier, they've been so eroded from being stripped or sandblasted over and over and over again. I mean, they looked really, really shoddy. But this particular powder and the way they built it up, it actually looks flawless. I could not be happier with these, which is usually not the case. Like the past, oh my gosh. It's been a heck of a ride with those powder coaters. It's been a heck of a ride. It's so disappointing too, because I've dropped stuff off there before and a year goes by, I pick them up, and then they're unusable because they're either scratched or they didn't do a really good job. It's such a bummer. It's such a bummer. And so for those of you who don't know, when I first was using these guys, I gotta mute myself over there. Let me do that real quick. I had a couple friends that worked there, and that's where I would go to get my mods done, or mods powder coated. And these guys were experts. I mean, they were so good at what they did, but time went on and, new employees come in and they change and stuff like that. And then I just didn't have the kind of go-to source. So I wasn't able to offer custom powder coats when people purchased their minis from my website, which is the plan all along, right? My company's name is Not From Concentrate. The whole idea was that you'd order a mini and I could paint it whatever color you wanted. So that's been kind of a big hassle. And I've looked into all sorts of different shops up and down the coast here. Normal paint, powder coating paint, new plating options, stuff like that, because I want to bring back that Not From Concentrate custom. I'm just going to go without my hat. My hair's so long right now, I need a haircut. It doesn't really fit right. Nathan asked, probably a relevant question, can we buy them from you? Maybe. That's the answer. I would not get your hopes up because I have to email a bunch of people who said, hey, I want to buy one way back, years ago. So I stopped responding to those a long time ago. Well, I didn't respond. I just said, look, I can't promise anything anymore. But I got to go back, contact those people, say, hey, look, they're available. And there's even a person on there. His name is Spencer. And he's had one order from let me go look. Maybe he has a number on here. This was, oh man. There's actually not a date on there, but he's had one order for since the beginning. And he wanted a custom powder coat, and I would keep offering him, hey, this is my new powder coat. And he'd be like, no, I don't like that one. And so on and so forth. So this is his last chance. So if he doesn't like this, then I guess I'll refund him his money, because poor guy has been waiting all these years for a mini. But if nobody wants those, what I'm going to do is I'm first going to probably offer it to Patreons, supporters, and then if they don't buy any, which they probably won't, then I'll put it on the live stream, so you guys will have the opportunity to buy some, and I'll announce it on the stream before the public. But they will be expensive. That's just the way it's got to be. And I don't really know what I want to do about the cost. I think I might donate the powder coat cost to charity. I have to figure that out. That's what I've done in the past for the powder coats. But it's really messy trying to figure that out. And I got in trouble last time with the accountant because I'm not a nonprofit, so I can't just take money and say it's going to a nonprofit. I could just promise you it's going to, and I would show receipts in the past. I don't really know what I'm going to do yet. But they'll be pricey, for sure. Because you have the base cost of the mini, which is $200. That's not going to go down. And the powder coat's going to be... It's going to be expensive. Ico1 says, hello, what the heck is this? So I guess that you stumbled into my live stream randomly. I am a channel about mini ITX computing, and this stuff is my really tiny mini ITX computer, the S4M Classic. And I just now got some panels back from the powder coaters, and I'm going to be putting them together. It's not super interesting, so if you aren't into mini ITX computing and small power supplies or live streaming, go watch something else, because you'll be bored. But I'm very happy to have you if you decide to stick around. Siegfried asked, will the prices go up after the recent China tariffs? No, I don't like to get political or anything like that, but a lot of companies out there have really played that as it being a big deal. It's not a big deal. Aluminum prices went up 15%. And if I buy aluminum in the United States of America, I don't pay a tariff on it. And there's plenty of places that sell aluminum in the United States of America. So material cost of the Mini is like the smallest cost of any computer case. I mean, it's so small, 15% going up, it's just like, it's nothing. What's expensive is the labor. The labor to fold it and machine it. The finishing costs, like the anodizing, that's expensive. But the raw material cost is not a big deal. So it matters for companies buying giant amounts of steel, you know, for construction and stuff like that. But for any computer case company, let alone a luxury computer case company, you wouldn't even see the difference if I charged you 15% extra for the price. It'd be like $1. So it's not going to go up in cost. Somebody asked an interesting question when I already forgot what it is. So, JJ asks if I have a patent. I do have a patent. I have a couple patents. For the S4M-Mini Classic, the patent is, well, the graphics card slots being in a horizontal plane for the motherboard. So this is patented. You can Google Joshua Sniffen Mini ITX patents. I go, man, it's a live video, so you should probably go watch something else. But I do make produced content if you're interested in me building computer systems and water-cooled systems and milling out different parts and pieces and assembling them from scratch. Okay. I use Novus 1 for this to lube it a little bit because I don't want to tear the paint. Perfect. Looks like I didn't save the screws though in the box. That's kind of annoying. So I have to find them. Novus 1 is not alcohol. This stuff is magic, by the way, guys. If I recommend one thing on my channel, it would be this stuff. It's a plastic cleaner, and it works on everything. You can restore anything plastic or metal with it so nicely. Especially like if you're eBaying something or you're reselling something, give it a couple squirts of this, use some microfiber, it'll look like brand new. It's not like Armor All. Armor All is kind of greasy, you know, and it looks like you definitely Armor All'd something, but it's kind of like that. It's the same concept. Do. I had to fix a problem. Someone's asking about how fast does the S4M ship. It can be, they ship pretty quickly. They ship once a week. So if you order 6 days out, you're going to have to wait 6 days for them to ship. They ship once a week. And they travel very fast. It's ridiculous how fast they go. That's why I partner with SFF Lab, because they handle shipping logistics. And I usually get my minis in 2 weeks. They sail right through customs for me. I never really have had a big problem. But that all depends. Like, there's some people that have purchased them and they've had to go through JFK customs, and it takes, 2 weeks in customs for them. So it's a black box, You just have no idea with customs how long it's going to take. But generally speaking, I feel like it's pretty quick. Especially if you live in my area, because they go through Atlanta. Nathan says, I'm currently running a 1700X. If it's better, do I downgrade to the 1700 version? Just the non-X version, and I don't think it matters. I've not had the 1700 versus 1700X, but I've had all the other AMD R1 Ryzen chips, and X, no X. AMD has excellent power controls and thermal controls on their CPUs, from what I've seen. Very, very happy about that. I don't actually have any ribbon cables for these, which is kind of a bummer. So I don't know what I'll do about that. But I do have my board somewhere. I want to sign my card, but I'll have to wait. I guess I'm just going to have to put these in the box. Remember these guys? Do any of you guys have S4M Classics? How much power would be needed from a Pico power supply for a Ryzen 2600X and a GTX 1080 Mini? You couldn't really use a Pico power supply for that. It would require way too much modding and cooling. It'd be much better to go with the HDPlex 400 DC power supply, and you can do that, run that easily with the Dell 330 watt brick. Make sure you use the one I have on my website, because there's multiple models of the Dell 330, and 3 of them will be garbage. 3 of them will not work. What you want is the LA 330 PM160, not the DA. Also, when I'm assembling this, minor thing, I'll point this out in case anybody ends up buying one of them. You got to use a big old screwdriver, a number 2. The longer the shaft, the bigger the handle, the more torque you can put on these screws to make sure you get it right. If you try to use a little tiny screwdriver, you might end up stripping the screws. Also, this allows me to get the screws in position so I don't tear the paint, which is really important. This stuff is really super durable, but still, you know, it's amazing what you can do with a screwdriver as far as damage is controlled. Yes, I have patents because there are a couple case makers out there who would have absolutely no problem taking what I'm doing and making a clone of it. And there's another case manufacturer who likes even better to take people's computer cases and then patent them and then tell them to stop making them. So it's good if you can to get a patent. That's worthwhile. I mean, it's a waste of everyone's time to get a bad patent. But that's part of the patent process. They try to make you not get a bad patent. And you know, we all see the crazy ones that Apple and Amazon comes up with, but they're usually not the patent that they actually achieved at the end of the day. That's the patent pending, the patent application, and those are goofy. But once you finally get that certificate, Pedro asks, have I read about the discussion going in the SFF forum regarding the heavily inspired by Lock Ghost S1? No, I have not. That's kind of funny because I feel like the Loki or Lock Ghost S1 is also a heavily inspired chassis. Alright, I got one of these bad boys done, and I think it looks fantastic. And hopefully my little buddy over there with the invoice for one for years and years and years will like this bad boy. Because this is the last call. have a customer sending me a couple RTX cards, and I will be able to see for myself and give a first-hand impression. But right now I do not have any, and I have not tested any. I got buddies in AMD in that realm, so I get to test their stuff out fairly early, but the NVIDIA stuff I do not, sadly, so I get slower than everybody else. I have to wait till a customer buys one. One of them's a pretty high-end card, like very, very expensive card. I'm real excited to give it a whirl. I'm actually designing a custom computer case for him right now. Alrighty. They applied this perfect because it's really hard to get a powder like this, not too thick, you know? And then the tolerances would be completely off, but they did a really good job. Maybe it's because the panels are so eroded after being stripped so many times. Oh, the reason I'm doing this windfall and not actually doing a cool build is because I still don't have the power supplies yet. So I have so many computer projects on my bench, on my backup bench, that don't have power supplies. I'm just completely stalled on them. We could be doing cool stuff right now instead of watching me put these together. I wonder if I should use black for this one. I think I'm going to use black instead of silver screws for this one. Which will pose kind of a challenge because I'm not sure. Yeah, if this was normal paint, it'd be the end of the world, but it's not normal paint. This stuff is super durable, so it's not like they're damaged from that, but it is pretty funny how much of a klutz I am. Whenever I get something painted with liquid paint, I have to baby it, put it in foam, and carry it to a little box over there on the end of that shelf I have. I'll twist around my camera so you can see my studio. Actually, that might be bad because I'll lose the focus again. I'll have to do that some other time. Carson asked, do screws exist that are as hard as a screwdriver? And yes, there are. There are some higher grade stainless screws, of course. They do make titanium screws, but if you use the appropriate screwdriver, it's very rare to actually get a screw that's going to strip. A lot of the time screws strip because they're just, you don't have the proper head for them. So that's why I always recommend all my cases are put together with a number 2, and get yourself a shaft that's, you know, at least 4 inches long and a handle that's 1 inch in diameter, and that's going to give you the proper torque for all the screws that I use. Now I'm putting a lot of pressure here. It looks like I'm having a hard time, but the only reason I'm doing that is I'm trying to get this screw in with this panel pulled against it, so I'm not going to be chipping the paint for the first time. If this was a standard anodized panel, I could just go woo and it'd be done, but I need to be extra careful when installing these screws for the first time that I do not damage the paint. So I'm actually trying to line up the screw with the chassis underneath this painted panel before I bother to torque it down. That is just beautiful. Yeah, Doug, there's no way to say what I just said without it sounding like something else. I'm sorry. There's no way. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Silverstone power supplies, just throwing my hat in the ring. It's not necessarily the stuff they put inside the power supplies, because for the most part I've not really had a bad one. It's the cables. Silverstone uses the same cable pinouts going all the way back to when I started building show computers, like in 2009. So that's really, really handy. And you can depin them all super, super nicely. They use really high quality Molex connectors and really high quality Minifit Junior plugs and really good cables. I've never seen a Silverstone power supply that doubles up on a connector, you know, mid-line, like there's no butt joints or anything like that. Whereas if you go with Intermax or Corsair's getting a lot better too. They're realizing this is important, but Corsair's power supplies are really hard to depin. And I had to use one for a show just a little while back this year, and it was still hard to depin. So that's why I recommend the Silverstone. Alright, to cut through the paint for the first time. Looks like I'm struggling, but I'm just trying to get everything even without breaking the paint. Good. You guys have to remind me when I get like right here, the audio gets bad. You have to say, "Step back, Josh." I'm trying to train myself. I am so thrilled with how this paint turned out. I thought it was going to be too thick and the panels were going to go together, but it's working. It's a little bit thick over here, and I definitely don't want to tear it. But speaking of platter drives, I have like the worst luck when it comes to purchasing from Amazon, which is where I buy most of my stuff. And it is so bad in shipping. Like I ordered a couple, I think they're 6 terabyte drives for my video storage, and they shipped them just bare, like in a baggie, not in a box, in a baggie. Of course, they did not work. And this kind of thing happens to me all the time. I ordered a really nice lens for my camera, and it came in a baggie. It's crazy. And then you'll order like a flash card or something, and it will come in a big box with a lot of bubble mailer in it. Oh man, this one is just gorgeous. I almost feel bad keeping it for myself. Can you see that? Can I pick it up like right here? It's super classy. I gotta wipe it down still so my fingerprints all over it. Oh man, I'll never be able to say that. Somebody else help me out. But it's a custom paint. It's actually 3 layers of paint. The top is, I believe, it's a Casper clear, then it has an anodized red, and then on the bottom is a silver artery. But it's a highly durable, beautiful powder coat. I know it is a beautiful shade of red, and it's so weird how it turned out too, like a burgundy, because it's a red. Like the powder, it comes in a bag that looks pink, but when you just put it on a straight silver or white surface, it's red. It's red, red, red. But with the silver underneath it, and then the basically matte clear coat above it, it looks burgundy-ish. It's beautiful, or maroon, like Siegfried said. Windfall asks as he proposes if I would be offended. There's some courting that has to be done first. Alright, I still got more to do. This is going very slowly. This one's not black, this one's silver. It is in the wrong box. But that's not too bad because we can see what the silver one's going to look like. Tom Brown asks, would you have any S4M-Cs that have a wooden front panel? I have 2 wooden front panels left for the S4M-Mini Classic. And they're both, I believe, mahogany. But that's it. They're limited edition serialized bezels. Handmade. I have 3 of them left. So if you want them now, this is the time. 46, 47, and 44 are left in mahogany. Now, for the S4 Mini, the current one, go to my website because I got tons of them in stock. I just finished a big old batch of them. I have zebra wood, walnut, and mahogany. And my own special one that was made for me by a customer, which was really, really sweet. Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate that. You know, I didn't think I was going to like the silver bezel with this panel, but oh my goodness. I really like it. Like, under the right light, the gunmetal silver catches it and turns the same color silver as the bezel. That's nuts. It's going to be really, it's impossible to see on camera, but after I get it put together, I'll tilt it. T. Kuro says, Josh, what's the ugliest powder coat paint that you've ever seen, barring application, just color-wise? Man, I've done so many of them. There was one color I really hated. I can't think of what it was. But there's a couple other ones that would be runner-up for sure. There was a brown that I did, and I love brown. It just didn't work out very well. There was a gloss black. I hate gloss black. I hate gloss black. Like a piano black. It's a beautiful color for certain objects, I gotta say. But for the Mini, it just did not work. It looked really bad. What was that color that I couldn't stand that was awful? It took a while to sell the 2 that I made, too. Like, I made sure they were the perfect application, but I ended up getting the rest of them recoated because I couldn't stand it myself. But all the ones I've sold except for that one, I've made sure to like first. I'll show you something really hideous, though. When I was courting my vendor for the S4M Classic Sky Skins. The demo ones they showed me, and I guess they did them here because they didn't want me to cheat them. Of course I wouldn't cheat them, but you know, they don't know that as far as the good skins just walking away. Look at these demo ones they sent. There is a Chewbacca, which is kind of funny. I mean, it's almost to the point where I would consider it just because it's funny. There is a Realtree skin. That's got to be the worst, right? That's got to be the absolute worst. And somebody wanted this for me. They saw this and they're like, oh my gosh, what do you want for that? I'll pay you anything. And I'm like, I'm not going to charge you for that. I feel like that would be a sin. Because it's so hideous. And this one actually is kind of interesting, I have to say. I just haven't had a project for it yet. But some kind of zebra kind of pattern stripes. And then there's like little speckles of stars inside the black. This one could be okay. Possibly. Possibly. But still, you know. And then this one, which is just beyond bad. I said wood because I was thinking like doing the bezels in a kind of a wood type of look. Before I did the actual real wood bezels, but like the side panels and this isn't even like wood. This is like the picture of an old barn. Just dumb. But yeah, these are pretty hideous. So these go in here, but I pulled them out, so they're not going to fit back in there again. Dude, I am a redneck. I love Realtree stuff. And when I leave the house, I either have like motorcycle or like Hemi stuff on, or I have Realtree stuff on. But like on a S4M Classic, no. But you know, if you want it, you're more than welcome to have it. But I think you need to be penalized and pay shipping. Thank you, Matt. I really appreciate it, man. Some people were wondering how long it took to get the Mini, so why don't you give them your input on that? Like I was saying before, around here where I live, it's about 2 weeks. And if you live in the rest of the world, it's way faster. It's Cuban! Dude, I haven't seen you in forever. Cuban's like an unofficial, not from Concentrate employee with like all the help he's given me over the years. Troubleshooting and helping customers out on the forums. So he's definitely an all-star. And he asked if I figured out how to do the 2 bins with acrylic for the bezel. I did. But it was one of those things that I was going to have to master, you know, as an artisan, and I just don't have time for that, and I didn't love it. And if I don't love it, I'm not going to, you know, spend days or weeks of my life perfecting it, you know? There's so many other things that I want to perfect first. And I really, really dig of course, the wooden bezels. Okay. The silver one is done, and I like it. It's not picking up. There we go. Kind of see a little bit how it kind of turns the same color as the front bezel under the right lighting. A little bit sorta, but it looks pretty cool. I like this one too, and I didn't think I was going to. So. Embellis. I've been to acrylic quite often for my job. Here, there's a panel I just built. Stuff like this. But with the S4M Classic, it was a couple problems with it. you have this bend on the end, which is real tiny, and the bezel is really thick. So this one was just difficult to do, to get it right. And of course, you have to measure it and make sure everything ends up being perfect and this doesn't get stretched too much to have that precise fit. So it was one of the more difficult bends. Usually, like when you're doing a complex bend, you can trim it afterwards. Knock donates, or I don't know what your name is because it just told me. There we go, Oddbjorn. I love your cases, but overall I cannot afford it due to import taxes here. Ordered the Ghost S1 instead. Quite good though. My next build is going to be one of yours. So thank you very much, Oddbjorn. I really appreciate it. And I know import taxes suck. It's terrible. And that's one of the reasons I actually support the tariffs completely apolitically. Just because it's just totally not fair. If you want to manufacture and you want to be a manufacturer or a small business and sell worldwide, you have to manufacture in China and the European Union. Because if you don't, you're just going to get destroyed when you sell to your customers inside the European Union or in China. It's not really affordable. Because not only do I have to pay, because we don't have subsidized shipping here in the United States, I have to pay like $60 to ship the chassis to somebody in the European Union. And then they have to pay a VAT on not only the price of the Mini, but the price of the Mini and the shipping and the insurance. And it depends on where you're at, but I've seen it skyrocket as much as 32%, which is just nuts. And who wants to pay 32% for an already expensive chassis? It's not fair. And on the flip side, there's some competition now that basically copies my stuff. I'm not going to name which countries they're in, but they're in the European Union. And they can not only sell to my customers in Europe for cheaper, but they can actually sell to the customers in the United States cheaper because our VAT is 5%. It's like 5.2%. And most of the time you don't have to pay that if you're shipping to an individual. So that's not fair. I think that needs to be balanced out so, I have a fair go at it. If they make a superior product, fantastic. I think my customers deserve to pay, cheaper for a superior product. But if it just comes down to taxes, it's annoying. Anyway, sorry for that little bit of a rant. This one is now done. Black one, so I actually labeled this one correctly. I don't know what happened. 1, 2, 3. $2012 Anonymous says, these cases, are they powder coated? Yes, they are powder coated. Yeah, Martin says here in Argentina we have 50% import taxes if it exceeds $25 USD, American dollars. It's ridiculous. It's utterly not fair. It's not fair. And it would be fair if, Argentina was a major supplier of luxury computer cases, obviously, because they'd want to protect their internal economy. But I don't think Argentina is known for that. So I think we need to take a look and talk about fair trade. I want to do these ones first. Hey, Maxim. Guillermo, I'm sorry for butchering your name. I really am. Is there a price difference between the S4 and the S4 Classic? And yes and no. The S4 Mini Classic and the S4 Mini are similar in price. I believe I sold this for $195 and the new S4M is $199. Is that what it is? I'm not sure. But the S4M, the new S4M comes with the riser, which is like a $35 value. So it ends up being cheaper. And shipping is way cheaper because I have shipping deals, and I ship through Chinese shippers and Taiwanese shippers, which they're subsidized, so we get good shipping rates. I'm sweating because it is almost 83 in here and it's raining outside, so it's super humid. But I don't want to turn the air conditioner on because you won't be able to hear anything I say, which might be a positive. Guillermo, if you could like type out a phonetic way of pronouncing your name, I would like to learn so I'm not ignorant and insulting. Maxim says, is there anything you're secretly brewing for Skyreach? I heard a lot of ideas like the Fat Boy kit, compact mounting kit, water cooling solution, something I can hint. No, I really have absolutely nothing in the works as far as that. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do next after the S4 Mini is done. Like, I ordered 1,000 of them from Lee & Lee. There, you guys know my number now. And I think I've sold 700 of them. So it's been a great, great, fun ride. But I don't know if it's something I'm going to continue. It's not really smart from a business perspective. If I want to continue as a hobby, I could. But if I have to do it as a business, and I have to pay my bills now, so I have to do it as a business, I have to scale up. And I don't know how to do that, and it's kind of scary, and I don't know what to do. So I'm kind of more discerning what's next for NFC. And I've been procrastinating by doing custom builds, like you'd see on the front page of my website. Guillermo. That's beautiful. Guillermo. Thank you very much. Cuban says, so once the S4M is done, you won't do a second batch? I'm not going to say that. Like, I really don't know. I'd like to. I'd very much like to. But I really have to scale it up. There's big news. There's big stuff going on in Taiwan right now. And I can't talk about it because I don't know what's for me to say and what's for me not to say. But I have to change vendors probably. I don't know if I can stay with my current manufacturers. I don't know if I can stay with my current manufacturer. That's going to be an enormous change because I need to make sure the quality stays the same. Because if you guys haven't used my chassis or seen my chassis in person, I work really hard. I spend almost all the money on the quality. You know, other people might make a computer case and go, what's the going rate for a unique PC, or what do you call it? A boutique PC. And they might say, oh, $200, and they'll price it accordingly. Mine's $200 because it costs almost $200 to get the product that I want done and run the business. So it's very high quality, and the problem with it is quality control, inspecting it, making sure everything is just precise and beautiful. And I think that the S4 Mini, the new one, I've achieved even higher levels of quality than the S4 Mini Classic, which I thought I did a great job. But, you always improve. You always try to release your best and get better. And I don't know if I can continue that if I have to change manufacturers. So I don't know what to do. So whatever I do next, I'm going to make sure I do it the absolute best I can to the highest degree of quality I can. And I want to move closer to the not from concentrate mantra. Like, I want computer cases to have a personal touch from me to you. Like, that's the whole goal. So anyway, I don't know what I'll be doing next. I would like to make more, but it has to make sense to make more. And I have to do it well. I'm not going to release a product, to my knowledge, that's inferior and then charge you the same amount because I have to charge you the same amount. This one is finished and turned out really good too, but more of the same. And last one, so Hans Tang asks, have you tried out the Skyreach Mini, to the people in the chat? And I definitely would help him out. I'm biased, of course, but I love the new Skyreach Mini. So, very happy with it. I think it's a superior product to the S4 Mini Classic. The Classic is beautiful. That's why it has a limited run and limited serial numbers. But building it is difficult. Everybody knows that. It's so tiny, it's so compact, and you can get way better cooling with the S4MC. So that's a good it's a good balance between looks and functionality. And the finishing for the S4MC is, the S4M is just so good. Lee and Lee does such a good, you can't beat them when it comes to anodizing and surface finishing. Danny T says, are you listing those S4 Mini Classics soon? For people just now coming in, I'm going to go back in time and look through my emails and make sure to offer to people who asked a long time ago for them, to give them a chance first, and then I'll probably give a chance to my Patreon subscribers next, because I don't offer any value to them and they just keep supporting my channel. And then lastly would be our live stream team. So any ones I have left, I will let you guys know probably next Monday. But if not next Monday, definitely the Monday after that, if you guys want to purchase them. Yeah, Cuban says, the only way for your case to be totally unique is from you to us is if you only did custom builds. And that's sort of true. Like, I have always had big plans for how to make NFC work as a truly custom computer case boutique. The problem is finding the right vendors to work with and the right manufacturers to work with, because I've tried over and over and over again, but other people don't care about my product as much as I care about my product. And then the price just completely balloons at these small numbers. Which is okay as long as I can get a fast turnaround, because I think that's important. I think people don't mind paying absurd amounts of money for a computer case if they're getting, one, a super high quality personalized product, and two, it gets them in a reasonable amount of time. And controlling both those two things is so difficult and really frustrating. I've worked with people before that were supposed to be able to print out, have a program developed. I have so much money in this company that you'll never see. A program developed to where you could take your Mini and you can paint it, you can add over your artwork and everything like that, and you can create your own custom skin and see it in 3D. And then you just click a button and you can order it, and then another company prints it off and sends it right to you. And there's so much work that I've done into that, but getting the stupid companies that actually want to do a high quality print, make sure it's done right, and then ship it out to you ASAP, and then also having a company help me implement that technology, like a shop for it and all that. It's been really, really challenging, really difficult. And I just keep hitting this barrier over and over again where I can only do so much as one person. Like, I need a team of people helping me out, And I can't, how do you get money for that? You know, I've been saving up money from all these runs over and over and over again, hoping eventually to be able to hire people and do that. But really, you have to take on investment, and nobody is going to invest in manufacturing here in America. I mean, if I went to a bank and said, hey, I'm making computer cases here in America, they're not going to give me money for that. That's ridiculous. So I just have to grow it naturally. And I absolutely despise Kickstarters and Indiegogos, crowdfunding. Like, I think it's because I want to be absolutely positive I can make sure that I deliver a product that I've already tested. I know how to do it. And so many times Kickstarters, I feel, take advantage of people. And the people that are doing it don't mean it. They just don't know any better. But like, it's really hard once you have your product prototyped to make sure you can make 1,000 of those, that quality, and send them to your customer. Like, you don't know you can do that until you actually do that. I don't want to rant about that, but that's like the only way I can think of to get the funding to do the things I need to do. And I don't want to do that because I want to make sure that whatever I deliver is a quality product. And if I do a Kickstarter, I cannot guarantee that. So I'm just going to build slowly and over time, and we'll see what happens. August Donovan says, if you ship them all to the same location, domestic, pick them up all individually and ship them back out, would it be cheaper? That's what I started off doing. And no, it was insanely expensive to do it that way. I have a really good thing going with SFF Lab. I'm back up. I still use batteries. I keep forgetting about that. My focus is out. We'll have stand-in, Josh. Do. There we go. Thank you. That's where I was. Lab. SFF Lab. I can't talk about how they operate, but basically the reason I operate with them is I get to use the shipping infrastructure. So I get my cases shipped directly from the manufacturer to you guys. And because they're shipping in Taiwan, has subsidized shipping, so shipping's really cheap and really fast. So it's the best way of doing it. That's the one part of my business that's working out really, really well, is the shipping. So thank you to SFF Lab for helping me out there. So it's well worth the cost. And Siegfried says, like I said, your cases are like the Mercedes-Benz, Aston Martin of cases, and I really appreciate that. I'm really going for Bentley, but, you know, I'll take Aston Martin. Okay, I got one more. One more to do. August says, what are the current problems in your business then? Just not able to reasonably scale up. Yeah, there's no way for me to scale up and make sure I retain the quality. That's my problem right now. And I thought Lee & Lee was going to be my answer, but there's, like I said, there's stuff happening inside the company. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use them or guarantee my product anymore. So it's very, very bad to talk to your customers about their plans, like my plans especially, because they could change any time. But I know you guys are cool and are not going to hold me to anything. And you understand that I'm just kind of like talking with you and I'm moving things out. I think that the way for me to move forward again after what's happened to my business is to release another product. And because I'll be releasing another product through a different manufacturer, if I can't re-secure with Lee & Lee and test the product again, you guys will be more forgiving, I guess. I have to start from the ground up. I don't know. Whatever I have to do, it has to be the best quality. And I want to under-promise and over-deliver. So I think I have to do another product because I can't have the same quality product if I just have it done by another manufacturer. What kind of product am I thinking of? Well, it's going to be Mini ITX, for sure. Absolutely. But people were just asking, do you have anything in the works? And now you're saying like, well, that sounds contradictory. It's not contradictory. I think the path forward is another product. I don't have anything in particular ready to rock and roll. I have 1,000 projects all within different stages of being completed. But having a prototype, and that's so important to understand if you guys want to do like this kind of thing, having a prototype is nothing as far as the stages to get to your customer. That's the easiest part. And think about how much work it takes to develop a product and get a prototype made. It's huge, right? But that's nothing compared to making sure that that product reaches your customers in the form that you imagine. That's the hard part. So having a prototype made that doesn't mean anything. That's why you see concept cars all the time that you never make it to production. Chris Albee asks, have you heard anything about the HTPlex 400 yet? No, that's the reason I'm doing this instead of actually doing something cool. I have projects I need to build, computers I need to build, videos I need to make, and there's no power supply because I've designed them all around that product, and I still do not have them yet. I need screws. I don't want to use black ones because I use silver for the other ones. Here we go. Alright, I'm going to wrap this stream up. This is my last computer case, but of course that could take another 30 minutes, so... Andrew asks about the supplier problem, the business problem. That's the real problem, is managing suppliers, making sure the product is quality, and reordering cases. It doesn't look like it's going to be an easy reorder. I'll probably have to switch manufacturers, or, like I said, I want to talk about those problems that we're having now, but it's not my place to say as far as the manufacturer and all that, so I can't. But basically, I'm kind of... I don't want to say I'm screwed. I don't look at it that way. God's my CEO of my company, so whatever he wants me to do. But things are changing anyway. People are starting to make clones of the Mini. Having to change manufacturers. I really just don't know. I don't know what's up in the air, so... I know, Chris Albee, that's my exact same problem. I don't want to name how many projects I have, but it's almost 10 computers that I need to have done that were all designed around the HTPlex 400 AC/DC. And I don't have mine, and it's a big problem. Because they were supposed to be out. I was supposed to have them last week. Martin Valucci says, do you think it's kind of contradictory that you can get a good ATX case for $50, but all the small form factor ones are more than $100? I know that they are for a smaller market, but use less material and time. That's a fantastic, amazing, awesome question, and I don't want to spend the next 2 hours talking about it, but as I was saying earlier, the VAT prices on raw materials like aluminum doesn't matter. The material inside a computer case is nothing. It doesn't cost... If you wanted to go price out the Mini, like going to onlinemetals.com, the most expensive supplier I know, because they basically will sell you a tiny sheet and ship it to your door, okay? And price out the Mini, I think the Mini comes to like $30. And that's insane. You're paying like 600, 700% of what you can get if you do it in bulk. So material costs are nothing. What matters is how many you're going to make, the time to set up the machines, the tooling, and all that kind of stuff. So it makes total sense to me. You know how much Thermaltake's numbers are? I can talk about one of their cases because it's public, but like when Thermaltake orders a small number of computer cases, that's 100,000 computer cases. So 50,000, 100,000 computer cases. That's a lot of computer cases. But when you're talking these small form factor cases, I ordered 1,000 of them. I said that early in the stream. which was huge for me, absolutely enormous. I spent every penny that I had saved from the S4M-C doing that. But there is a ginormous difference in cost because of that. And there's also there is a big difference between them. Like, for example, this uses higher quality materials. And you might say, well, didn't you just say materials are not part of the case? You know, as far as the cost goes? Yes, but higher quality materials are harder to work with without breaking. Like, there's a reason that Thermaltake uses 1.3 millimeter SEC steel, is because it is so darn easy to bend and fold and refold, and it does not hurt or wear out their dies at all. So that's a huge issue. It's one of the reasons that aluminum is, you know, now widely used in manufacturing, car manufacturing. Ford, for example, like Ford started making a lot of their trucks' body panels in aluminum. Why didn't they do that back in the 50s when they invented TIG welding? The answer wasn't that they didn't have the material. It was that the process to make that material was so new and so expensive. So that's why they use steel. That was really dumb. I just kind of down-talked you guys. But the point is, the thicker the material you use and the harder the alloys, like 6061T aluminum for this, it's more brittle. But it's also harder. So it doesn't scratch as easy, doesn't nick as easy, as opposed to like 5052, which is the majority of computer cases they're made out of when they're made out of aluminum. So Willard is a fat man. Man, it is good to hear from you again. He actually owns an S4M Classic done in a similar powder, but he did it in the Gordon Orange with the Half-Life logo on it, as I remember. And now I've talked so much I missed his question. Oh no, he asked about SFX. I will never make a computer case that has SFX, a mini ITX computer case that uses an SFX power supply. So, I mean, never say never, but I loathe to think about doing that. A question above by somebody, but his name's getting cut off. He's saying that GPUs are getting better and better and smaller, and are mainstream case manufacturers going to enter that ultra small form factor market, or is it too much of a niche? It's happening. I know some in development. It's one of the other reasons I don't know about second run of the Mini. I just have to see what happens. It's going to be a big battle coming up for sure. But I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me today and talking to me and asking me good questions when I was putting together minis. I don't know how I keep producing less and less content, but we still keep having these awesome chats. So thank you very, very, very much, guys. And I will see you next Monday. And hopefully next Monday I'll have power supplies so we can actually build something fun. But I love you guys, and I will talk to you later.